Welcome back to CBS Saturday Morning. We begin this half hour with a case that gripped and divided America. Today marks 10 years since the death of Trayvon Martin. The unarmed black teenager was shot and killed by Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman during an altercation. The ensuing trial, in which Zimmerman was acquitted of Martin's murder, raised questions about race and law enforcement and was the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. To observe the anniversary tonight, CBS presents Trayvon Martin 10 years later. Mark Strassmann has a preview.
Local 6 News starts now.
With a Sunday night local news story.
Officers were called to the Twin Lake townhomes in Sanford last night.
Trayvon Martin's legacy almost died the night he did.
The man had been shot and killed. The shooting suspect surrendered to police.
Near Orlando, a Neighborhood Watch volunteer called 911 to report a suspicious person.
This guy looks like he's up to no good.
That guy was 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, heading back from a convenience store, doing nothing wrong.
Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that.
But George Zimmerman, that Neighborhood Watch volunteer, confronted Martin anyway. He showed police later how they fought on the ground.
And he just kept slamming it.
And losing the fight, he fatally shot the teenager.
I felt his arm going down to my side, and I grabbed it, and I just grabbed my firearm, and I shot him.
Days went by, no arrest. Police said Florida's Stand Your Ground law protected Zimmerman's claim of self-defense. Tracy Martin, Trayvon's father, remembers.
We had an admitted killer. We had the actual weapon, but we didn't have an arrest.
Outraged?
Outraged.
At that point, do you have the sense that anybody cared?
No.
Attorney Ben Crump represents the Martin family.
And literally they were saying to me, okay, being a black kid got killed, that happens all the time in America. What's so significant about this?
My kid went to the morgue, and this guy went home and went to sleep in his bed. There's no justice in that.
Martin's family was in disbelief.
And I remember we did the first national interview with you, Mark Strauss, and CBS, because you all were the first people who said you would do it. And we are grateful eternally for that.
It was just painful to see that there had been a killing of a young black unarmed teenager.
Your son.
My son, and there was nothing being said or done about it.
Trayvon Martin.
Right away, more news outlets reported the story.
Shame on Sanford PD!
Pressure built on police.
Who do we want? Zimmerman!
Florida's governor appointed a special state prosecutor. A national conversation exploded about racial justice.
We are Trayvon Martin!
Within 3 weeks, he's a household name.
Yeah.
Social media was starting to take hold, and they all hashtag Trayvon Martin Life Matters. LeBron James and the Miami Heat, they put on the hoodies and they said, we're all Trayvon. And then they had this thing called the Million Hoodie Rally.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Up in New York,
New York
they shut
City.
down New York.
Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon's mother.
This is not about a black and white thing. This is about a right and wrong thing.
President Obama has made his own concerns very clear in very personal terms.
Even in the White House, Trayvon Martin's name inspired soul searching.
How on earth could a young teenager walking down the street eating Skittles, minding his own business, end up dead? How does that happen in America?
Valerie Jarrett, former President Obama's senior advisor. A month after the shooting, she remembers him telling staff in the Oval Office he wanted to talk about Trayvon.
This was a very personal decision he made to try to lift up this story and make it a teaching moment.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. All of us.
And what President Obama wanted to do was to broaden the reach of that statement to reach all Americans, not just black ones.
It's amazing to think 10 years.
It is about a right. It's not about a black and white thing. It's about a right and wrong thing. And that's what it's always been about.
It's so much sorrow and this collective sorrow and the channeling of that sorrow and demanding change. I mean, looking back at that, it feels like it was just yesterday. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years.
One of those moments that always stuck with me then and still does now is listening to that 911 call when George Zimmerman called and said, "I'm following him," and they said, we don't need you to do that.
We don't need you to do that. Yeah, I was down with Mark covering it, and it was still, it was such an emotional time covering the trial and then the reaction when George Zimmerman was acquitted.
Yeah,
it was tough for a lot of people.
Incredible, powerful reporting by Mark Strassmann and all of our teams. Trayvon Martin, 10 years later, can be seen tonight on CBS News, streaming at 8 Eastern. You can also see it tonight at 10 Eastern on the Smithsonian Channel and on BET on Monday night at 8 Eastern.